Welcome in. I think introductions are in order. I am Chris, also known as Narrative Nomad. And in this part of the video, real quick, I just want to tell you a little bit about myself. If you want to skip forward, feel free. But right now, like I said, my name's Chris, and so my history with chess. So my parents' dad really tried to teach me this game, which he didn't really understand anything beyond the basic moves. And he still beat me all the time as a kid. And then later on, when I went to college, there was a bookstore that they would hold weekly games there. And so I decided I was going to brave that and learn a little bit of the game. When I learned that there were actually tactics and things, I'd love to tell you that I became enthralled. But the truth is that while I did enjoy it, I didn't really like study the game at that point. I bought a book, I read it for quick, uh, but very, I didn't really study the games, right? So that, and then I grew up a little bit later, and chess has always been a part of my life, right? Well, for an example, when I'm at work, or when I was at work, when I was in my early 20s, people were playing dominoes, right? And I'm like, that was a fun game, but after years of that, you get a little stale. I decided I was going to introduce chess, and it was fun because by the time I had left that company, then about half the tables were playing chess. So I have a little bit of history in introducing chess to people, much like yourselves. And then I played a little bit more. Unfortunately, up here where I'm at now, there's not a lot of consistency when it comes to the chess stuff. But we're going to change that too, right? And so you're going to join me on a journey about changing that. I know a few openings. I know a few of the tactics and stuff like that, but that's about it. So really, while I know a little bit more than you might watching this video, ultimately, we're really going to learn and study this game together. So thank you for joining me on that. And without further ado, let's learn how the pieces move.
Let's start with the king, the most important piece in the game.
All right, we're going to start with the king. And so I should have said, why should you join me on this journey? Like, you can watch these videos on chess.com, right? Or you can go on the YouTube and watch it there. So why should you watch it with me? Well, ultimately, I think part of it is that I'm going to provide entertainment value. You're not going to be watching a video by yourself, right? You're going to come along with me on this journey as we enjoy this. So that's kind of, again, why I think maybe you should continue watching.
The king can move one square in any direction.
Okay, well, fair enough, right? You got the arrows pointed.
Drag your king to capture the star. Nice. Now capture the next star.
Can I go?
Keep it up. One more star to go.
Oh man, I'm just going to keep moving all over the board. Yes, the king can move every which way.
Good job. Now you know how to move the king.
All right. Well, that sounds like a good start anyway.
Next, let's learn how to move the queen.
Yes, my queen.
The queen is the most powerful piece. It can move any number of squares up, down, sideways, or diagonally.
True. Also, when you're playing an opponent who's not really experienced, as soon as they lose their queen, usually quit the game. Either mentally or actually physically, get up and walk.
Use the queen to capture the star.
All right, we can just go one turn.
Exactly. Now move the queen multiple times to capture the star.
Oh, wait.
Keep it up and capture the last star. Good job.
Boom.
Now that you know how to move the queen, let's learn about the other pieces.
All right. That's been simple enough, right?
Time to meet the rook.
Oh.
It can move any number of squares up, down, or sideways.
Or the castle, right? That's what most people will call it if they're not familiar. Castle piece.
Can you use the rook to capture the star?
Yeah.
You got it. Capture the next one.
Does it go diagonal? No. Thankfully, in chess.com, you have all these little dots that can help you out in case you don't know.
Great job. Capture one last star. Excellent. You're picking this up fast.
That's right. Not that hard so far.
Next is the bishop. It can move any number of squares diagonally.
Mm-hmm. I would have thought they would have shown it here in the center of the board, because in case you can't really see the paying attention to the arrow, so it can go if it's over here in the G2 square here. It can go farther, just in case you didn't have curious.
Use the bishop to capture the star. And the next one.
Oh man. Case in point.
Last one. You're doing great. Amazing.
Yeah.
Now that you know how to move the bishop, there are only 2 more pieces to learn.
Sweet.
This is a knight. The knight moves in an L shape.
Now, as a kid, of course, I never understood that. Why didn't you just call it the horse? But, I called it the knight. So we'll just go with that. Oh, wait. Can't move it yet.
The knight is the only piece that can jump over other pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Try moving your knight to capture the star.
This is always the most hardest piece to learn, because it's up 2 and over to left or right 1, or up 1 over to the right 2 or left if you're there. No, it cannot go off the board.
Take a few moves to capture the next star. Nicely done. One last knight capture.
Now, in case you haven't, I did that one real quick. I basically planned it 1, 2, that one, correct, and then 1, 2, that one. But again, it has the dots there in case you're learning.
Well done. Let's keep moving.
Yeah. Again, that's the hardest piece. But if you play on like chess.com, ultimately what will end up happening is that you will learn the way that things move without making a mistake. So when you play in real life, people won't look at you like you're like crazy. Instead, you'll get a slow bright.
Last is the pawn. It moves 1 square forward or 2 squares on its first move.
Now, what I didn't like is that a couple of parts ago it said 2 pieces left. The pawn is actually not considered a piece. We'll get into that in a little bit why.
Try moving the pawn 1 square forward.
Boom, but it says I can move 2.
That's a legal move, but let's practice moving the pawn 1 square first.
Oh, okay, so see, that's what happens when we make mistakes.
Try moving the pawn 1 square. Great! You start with more pawns than any other piece, so understanding how they move will be key to your game.
Easy peasy.
Try moving the pawn 2 squares on its first move.
Boom.
Good. Now you know how pawns can move.
The first move. We'll get into the capture part in a little bit. This is always a little tricky.
Pawns have another quirk. They can only capture diagonally.
Right. Oh.
Move up and then capture the star.
Now, if you move up, again, it would be another mistake.
Nice. Pawns are the only piece that can promote to any other piece when they reach the other side of the board.
True. And there you see a lot of memes about this online, if you follow any chess things.
Move to the end of the board and select the queen to promote your pawn. Looks good. It usually makes sense to promote to a queen since it's the strongest piece.
Right. Occasionally you'll see it promoted to a knight, but ultimately usually the queen.
Pawns have a unique ability called en passant. If an opposing pawn moves 2 squares and stops beside your pawn, you can still capture it.
That is true. Which is a move you occasionally see in a game, but it's a very rare move and stuff.
Capture this pawn en passant by imagining it had only moved 1 square.
You have to do it on its turn.
Nice capture. En passant is somewhat rare, but it will come in handy eventually.
Yeah. I've actually never played a game where it's really come in handy. In fact, a lot of times when you play it with somebody who's not familiar with the en passant, then what ends up happening ultimately is you have to explain it to them. So sometimes it might not even be worth it.
Now that you know how to move your pieces, let's go over some chess basics to help you play confidently.
Perfect.
Capturing your opponent's pieces is key to gaining an advantage.
Yep.
Here, your queen could capture this pawn, but... What if a rook is protecting this pawn?
Ugh.
You could capture that pawn, but the rook would capture your queen right back.
That's not good.
Instead, the other pawn is unprotected. Go ahead and capture the free pawn.
I will say, thankfully, when you play chess, there will not be stealth pieces that just appear out of nowhere.
Nice, it's always great to capture a piece for free.
True.
Choose a pawn to capture. Make sure it isn't protected.
Oh, yes, that would be this one.
That's right. That pawn was not protected by the queen and safe to capture.
No, it wasn't.
Which piece is safe to capture?
If I capture this one, then the pawn could take me. So it has to be the queen.
Good choice. The queen was unprotected and safe to capture. Which piece should the white knight capture? Remember, knights can jump over other pieces.
If I take the bishop here, then the rook would take me. But if I do the opposite and take the pawn or the rook and not the bishop, I can't get taken back. So the answer clearly is
Exactly.
castle.
The bishop was protected, so capturing the rook makes sense. When the king is threatened by another piece, it is in check, meaning the king could be captured if something isn't done next turn.
Correct. Which is kind of one of the goals in the game is checkmate.
Move your bishop to put the king in check. Good job.
Yeah.
The king is in check and would be forced to move. Only one of your pawns can put the king in check. Which one is it?
Oh man. That one. Because if you move this one up, it can't capture and it's stuck there.
That's right. Since pawns capture diagonally, checking the king is done in the same way. When your king is threatened, it has to get out of check on your next turn.
No.
Can you get out of check by moving your king?
You can never go into battle thinking you're going to always be protected. So yes.
Nice. By moving the king, you've escaped check.
Momentarily.
Can you get out of check by capturing the queen?
No, you can't. He's stuck there. Except the king can't attack.
Sweet.
So he does.
By capturing the queen, you've escaped check.
Yeah.
Can you get out of check by blocking with the rook? You've got it. The 3 ways to get out of check are to escape, capture, or block.
It's just that simple, ladies and gentlemen. We escape, we capture, or we block. Right? We run away, we take for ourselves, or we cower down and go, ah.
If the king can't get out of check, that's checkmate, and the game is over.
Now, if you're the white piece, that's a good thing. So I'm assuming that she's the white pieces. Because if you're the black piece now, you'd be like, oh, the game's over.
Checkmate your opponent's king with your rook. Great job. Their king can't capture, move, or block. That's checkmate.
Correct. That's how you win, ladies and gentlemen.
Can you find checkmate with one of your rooks?
Boom.
That's the winning move.
Yeah.
Their king has nowhere to run, and that's checkmate.
He's done.
Can you find checkmate? Remember, your king will protect your queen if you put it near it.
That's when you can move it.
Exactly. The black king can't capture your queen because your king would capture it back. That's checkmate.
Just that simple. Last we'll learn
Castling is a special move that moves the king and rook at the same time. This is a great way to get your king to safety. Move your king 2 squares at once to the right and see what happens. Castling protects your king in the corner and brings your rook into the game.
Just that simple.
You can castle in either direction. Try moving your king 2 squares at once to the left. You got it. Castling is an important skill, but there are some rules to keep in mind.
Uh-oh. Rules.
Castling requirements include Your king and rook have never moved, you aren't in check, you won't enter check by castling, and the spaces between the two pieces are empty.
Right. So if there was a rook, I think it shows the next card.
In this position, your king can't castle to the left because it would move into check from the rook. However, your king is safe in the other direction. Practice castling to the right. Nice. In general, it's good to castle early in the game to keep your king safe.
Now, I wish they did introduce some of the notations in that last part of castling, the old 0-0 or 0-0-0. But we'll get to that in a little bit. No, thank you for joining me on this video about how the pieces move. I appreciate you taking the time with me to do it. And I hope this has been important and enough to, educational enough, I should say, to deal with. And, head down to chess.com, learn the moves for yourself. And I'll see you on the chessboard.